After a 7-day strike, Woolworth store employees in Detroit celebrate their victory. They managed to raise wages by 20%, reduce working hours to 40 hours a week, and receive overtime pay, 1937. The submarine Kursk being lifted from the bottom of the Barents Sea. The Hollywood sign was created in 1923, but not as a symbol of the Dream Factory. It was simply advertising for new residential areas in Los Angeles, and the sign was originally longer, Hollywoodland. It was supposed to last about 1.5 years, but due to the booming film industry in Hollywood, they decided to keep it. The cleaning lady at the Royal College of Surgeons of England tidies human skulls, early 20th century. A photograph of Rainy Bethea taken 2 weeks before his hanging for the rape of a 70-year-old white woman. It was the last public execution in America, 1936. In 1923, an American inventor named Murphy struggled to sell the police the bulletproof vest he had designed. Officers were skeptical that a mere contraption could stop a bullet and refused to purchase his product. The stubborn Murphy finally put the vest on himself and stood facing the sheriff. A German woman sits alone with all her belongings in the war-torn city of Cologne, 1945. Photographer J. Maisel among his Kodachrome slides, 1982. And I thought my photo archive was a mess. The bent prow of HMT Olympic after it rammed and sank German U-boat U-103, May 12, 1918. Walking the Mummies, Italy, 1950. 19th century vampire hunting kit. Toy factory workers painting dolls' faces, 1950s. It's believed many employees were deaf-mute, often hired in such industries. A fatal attack on the leader of the Japan Socialist Party is captured live on television. Since that very moment, communism in Japan weakened, 1960. Gas chamber for horses, Germany, 1942. Used to treat skin diseases, but it looked terrifying. A break during a football match, England, 1920. A man guards his family from cannibals. The Great Famine, 1876, British India. A boy handing out the evening newspaper with news of the Titanic disaster, 1912. Hand-dropped bombs, World War I. Marilyn Monroe was secretly filmed in a 15-minute adult film performing oral sex. The film is not publicly available. It was bought by a private collector for $1.5 million. Citizens photographed the body of famous criminal, bank robber John Dillinger, displayed in the morgue for public viewing. USA, 1934. A century-old advertisement claimed that heroin kept your head always clear and fresh. In 1921, designer Valerian Abakovsky tested the Aero Wagon, a train with an aircraft engine. On the return trip, it derailed and crashed, taking the inventor's life. The boldest necklines of the 1950s. 7 Native Americans were brought to Europe as new residents of a human zoo, 1889. FBI photo montage created in 1945 in case Hitler tried to escape by changing his appearance. One of the most famous photos of World War II. A crying 15-year-old German anti-aircraft gunner, Hans-Georg Henke, captured by the U.S. Army in Rechtenbach, Germany. An old Halloween costume. A Soviet soldier chases a man who threw stones at a tank. Poland, 1968. The fearless Bobby Leach performed a large number of life-threatening stunts. For example, in 1911, he crossed Niagara Falls by tumbling over it in a barrel. Leach died in 1926 after slipping on an orange peel. Anti-apartheid protesters in Cape Town, 1989. Police spray the protesters with colored water from a water cannon so they can be easily identified and arrested. The mummies of Guanajuato are considered the creepiest. Their distorted faces suggest people were buried alive. In the 19th century, due to unpaid grave taxes, bodies were exhumed and stored in basements, and later a museum was created from the most frightening ones. Parade of Hate. 50,000 Ku Klux Klan members in Washington, 1926. Daddy Long Legs, the Underwater Electric Railway, 1897. The son of a poor farmer graduated from university. His father worked in the fields for 4 years to pay for his son's education. A U.S. Embassy employee hits a South Vietnamese man trying to board the last helicopter during the evacuation of Saigon, 1975. This is not a fall, but a descent down the scariest slope in America. Corbett's Couloir. Doug Coombs, 1990. Carefree Old Age. Slovakia, 1966. Austria, 1954. The average lifespan in ancient Rome was 20 to 30 years. By the age of 20, 60% of peers were already dead. Only 1 in 3 lived to 30. Men died in wars, women during childbirth. In 1958, Clennon King, who applied to the University of Mississippi, was forcibly committed to an insane asylum. The judge who delivered the verdict explained, "A Negro must be insane if he thinks he can be accepted into the University of Mississippi." For 2,000 years, the people of Sagada in the Philippines have avoided burying their dead. Instead, they hang coffins high on cliffs, believing that the higher the body is placed, the closer the soul is to heaven. A man tries to open the door to his cell in Kigali during the Rwandan genocide, 1994. A heartbreaking photo from 1995 taken in Chechnya. The owners say goodbye to their dog as they leave the combat zone. A real woman will always cover you. Italy, 1960. American soldiers are shown one of the methods of execution in the German concentration camp Buchenwald, 1945. A poignant Victorian-era photo of a sleeping baby in the arms of its mother, who died during childbirth. A taxi with the sign, "For colored people only," early 1960s. An invention for washing and massaging breasts, 1930. These devices were also supposed to improve firmness. Working models can still be found on eBay today. This 1910 service vehicle was a revolutionary breakthrough for U.S. city infrastructure, replacing simple carts and ladders for maintaining streetlights. Soviet soldiers harass a German woman, Germany, 1945. Robert Wadlow, the tallest recorded man in history, with his family, 1935. Dolphin hunters in the Black Sea, USSR, 1947. Dolphin meat was sold on post-war store shelves. The USSR ceased dolphin hunting in 1966. Designer Stoner and Kalashnikov pose with each other's weapons, USA, 1990. The smallest car in the world, the Peel P50. It weighs just 130 pounds, 59 kilograms. Benedict XVI, the 265th Pope, who became a member of the Hitler Youth in 1941 and served in an SS anti-aircraft battalion during World War II. A group of Inuit dragging a walrus home to butcher and eat, 1930. Infant crawling races, a popular sporting event in New Jersey during the 1940s. In 1835, Halley's Comet passed close to Earth, and 2 weeks later, Mark Twain was born. Later, he wrote, "I came in 1835 with Halley's Comet, and I expect to go out with it." And so it happened. Twain died on April 21, 1910, the day after the comet passed again. In the 80s in the USA, there were doctors who diagnosed by the smell from underarms. The crazed stare of a shell-shocked soldier, World War I, 1914. Two American border guards try to hold back an escapee who had already partially crossed into Mexico, 1939. UK, 1943. A proud member of the Women's Corps shows off her new tattoo, a symbol of rebellion and style. Execution in Turkey in the 18th century. A woman caught in a sexual act before marriage was sewn into a sack with cats and drowned. Carrier pigeons are now rarely used for letters, but successfully perform other tasks. In Europe, they transport blood samples to hospitals, and drug dealers use whole flocks to smuggle substances from Afghanistan to Pakistan. A chimpanzee astronaut receives an apple after the first successful spaceflight. USA, 1961. France's last duel occurred in 1967 between a deputy and a mayor after the deputy insulted the mayor in Parliament, calling him an idiot. The first photograph of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant after the disaster, morning of April 26, 1986. The photo is grainy due to radiation damage to the film. The last known photograph of a Barbary lion before its supposed extinction, taken in the Atlas Mountains in North Africa in 1925. Dogs that survived the Titanic disaster. Of the 12 dogs on board, only 3 survived, 1912. November 1966, stagnant air trapped toxic smog over New York City for 3 days, killing 168 people. During Prohibition in the US, it was illegal to produce, sell, or transport alcohol. As a result, winemakers resorted to tricks to survive in the new environment. For example, they started selling grape concentrates in bricks, labeling them with warnings. After dissolving the contents in a gallon of water, do not store the liquid in a closed cupboard, as after 20 days, it will turn into wine. Family Shelter for Atomic War, USA, 1961. Engineer plugging in one of the first computers, 1958. Berta Baranda, 5 years in prison for cutting off her husband's member for cheating, USA, 1907. Women in special cloaks to protect themselves from smog, Philadelphia, USA, 1953. Eyes that saw the nuclear explosion, Japan, Hiroshima, 1945. Japanese prisoners of war with heads bowed listened to the announcement of Japan's unconditional surrender, September 2nd, 1945. May 7th, 1954, the USA definitively rejected the USSR's entry into NATO. This decision clearly indicated the USA's hostile stance toward the Soviet Union. Reporter interviewing a penguin, 1966. Prisoners of the Flossenburg death camp after liberation by the 97th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army, May 1945. The gift of a Mercedes-Benz from Hitler to Nepalese, King Tribhuvan, 1939. Two moonshiner sisters arrested during Prohibition, USA, 1921. The May 2nd, 1945 edition of the Stars and Stripes newspaper, Hitler is Dead. The exorcism ritual over German girl Anneliese Michel, whose story was the basis for the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Germany, 1976. A mother and her 8 sons, all of whom served in the American Army and all returned home alive in the 1950s. Albert Einstein fled Germany from the Nazis and hid in England. He was on the Germans' kill list, which is why he was assigned bodyguards, 1940. A car powered by charcoal, Japan, 1945. Horses used as barricades during the Spanish Civil War, Barcelona, 1936. Racial hatred. A hotel manager pouring muriatic acid into the pool to get black swimmers to get out of the pool. Male chastity belt, 16th century. Freak show, 1924, USA. Ringling Brothers in Barnum and Bailey Circus. British photographer William Saunders went to China, where he took this staged beheading photo to evoke disgust in the West about Asian customs and motivate it to civilize China. The first image of people in a photograph happened by accident, taken in 1838. A German soldier returns home and discovers that his house and family are no longer there. Frankfurt, 1946. These are Buchenwald concentration camp guards, captured by prisoners during the final days of World War II. We all know what became of them. Long, horrific torture and suffering. Germany, 1945. Winston Churchill in Boer War captivity, standing on the right, South African Republic, 1899. Vesna Vulovic, a Serbian stewardess who survived the highest free fall without a parachute from 33,000 feet in 1972. In the 18th century, admission to the exotic animal collection at the Tower of London cost either a penny and a half or a cat or dog. They were used to feed the lions. One of the first home vacuum cleaners, Siemens Elmo, 1906. Scoliosis treatment device, 1880s. A brutal-looking early orthopedic tool. Whether this clip sparked joy, anger, or just a bit of annoyance, I want to hear your thoughts below. Stick around for part 2 coming soon. Please hit like and subscribe to support the channel. See you!